right, ladies and gentlemen, if you take your seats, please, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Miss Debbie, could you call the roll for us, please?
Mr. Hannigan.
Here.
Mr. Derman.
Here.
Mr. Loop. And Mr. Harrell.
Here.
Mr. Nation.
Here.
Mr. Jeter.
Here.
Mrs. Sealy. Here. Mrs. Drucker. Mr. Betancourt.
Here.
Mr. Womack. Mr. Hersey.
Here.
Mrs. Mullet. Mr. Kuzan.
Here.
Mrs. Belisario. Mrs. Hines.
Here. Thank you very much. Would we all stand, please? Mr. Nation's going to lead us in the invocation and pledge.
Let us pray. Direct us, O Lord, with your most gracious favor, that all our work, begun, continued, and ended in you, may find favor in your sight, and finally, by your mercy, may we obtain everlasting life. This we pray in your name. Amen. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nation. Appreciate that. We did not have anyone sign up requesting time on the agenda, so we'll move to our next item, which is approval of the minutes from the July 12th, 2016 meeting. Do I have a motion to accept those minutes? Okay, I have a motion from Ms. Sealy and a second by Mr. Derman. Thank you. Do we have any comments from board members? Any comments from the public? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Abstentions? Mr. Hersey, thank you. So ordered. Motion passed. We'll move on to instruction, and our first item is Channel 13 Awards, and we have Superintendent Volz.
Thank you, Ms. Hines. Board members, tonight we have 3 special awards that we're happy to present, and they deal with our Channel 13 staff. First is the Press Club of New Orleans Award. Channel 13 was recognized as the Press Club of New Orleans Excellence in Journalism Awards Gala in July. Grant Yenny earned second place in sports feature category when he did a story on Slidell native Julius Smith, who was inducted into the Southern University Hall of Fame. I'd like you to take a look at that video.
Helping other guys be the best that they can be. That was one of the biggest thrills of my life.
Slidell native Julius Smith started out in the St. Tammany Parish public school system and grew into a legend in his community and far beyond. Now, that status is going into the history books with an induction into the Southern University Hall of Fame.
It was the biggest surprise of my life, and something I never saw coming. But I'm honored to be going in with a good group of guys that I've known for 50-some years.
Smith started his athletics career in Slidell, starring for St. Tammany High School. Nicknamed Rabbit due to his speed, Smith was even invited to play in an adult baseball league at a young age.
Well, I played it when I was about 15, 16 years of age with an older men's baseball team on Sunday afternoons. The old Slidell Dodgers, older men's team. And they encouraged me to just come out and play on Sunday afternoons. And it was the biggest thrill of my life.
Smith graduated from high school and enrolled at Southern University. Being an athlete his entire life, watching from the sidelines didn't sit well for the Rabbit.
I was about to withdraw from Southern University, but due to one of the deans, Dean Ulysses S. Jones, who sent me to see Coach Lee. Coach Lee was the baseball coach, and he had seen me play baseball at a Ponchatoula tournament and told me to stay and go out for baseball, and I did.
The rest, as they say, is history. Smith played ball for Southern and then left college for a stint with the St. Louis Cardinals. Yet it was returning to Southern to finish his degree that had the greatest impact on his life and gave him his #1 advice to share with others.
And it propelled me to go on to do other things for my community, teaching these guys here what it's like to put the best in what you do. Never ever quit.
And with that lesson, Smith returned to St. Tammany Parish, accepting a coaching position at Alton Elementary, later moving to Salmon High. St. Tammany Parish School Board member Dennis Kuzan remembers Smith as a high school coach.
And the main thing is that the way Julius carries himself as a man, you know. He's a person that the kids can be he's a role model to students. everywhere Julius go, Jewish people love Julius.
I'm just glad that he's finally getting the recognition that he deserved.
Former Salmon student athlete and current St. Tammany Parish School Board Supervisor Byron Williams considers him his idol.
He never screamed, never shouted, never belittled you. You know, he just saw where your weaknesses were, and he worked with you with those weaknesses.
He deserves every accolade that he gets.
8 straight district titles.
And those accolades are topped by this latest honor, induction into the Southern University Hall of Fame. Grant Yenny, Channel 13.
16 years.
And that would happen to be Grant's first story that he produced since he started working at Channel 13. And since 2007, Channel 13 has won a total of 23 Press Club Awards. So congratulations to Grant. And Grant, please come up and get your certificate. I also want to share with you tonight, board members, some Telly Awards that we won in Channel 13. 2 more of those. Announced tonight that Dr. Melody Swang and Kevin Mumphrey won their work for producing a video for the 2015 Superintendent's Runner-Up Award. You may remember that Amanda Haley, a Covington High student, was honored and recognized for her work raising money and awareness to educate the community. Let's take a look at her video.
Amanda Haley is a petite, energetic, and vivacious young lady. A junior at Covington High School, she studies hard and surrounds herself with good friends.
I am a cheerleader. I show livestock. I am the 2015 Louisiana Cattleman's Queen. I'm also involved in 4-H and FFA. I do public speaking.
Amanda looks like your average, successful Covington High student. However, one thing makes Amanda Haley very different.
I have Chiari malformation of the brain, and basically it's where your brain sits down too far in your spinal column and it cuts off your spinal fluid flow. So it can throw you into seizures, and it can cause you to have basic movement problems, and it can cause your muscles to go weak and your arms and legs to be numb and tingle.
After years of suffering, the doctors finally diagnosed her condition, and Amanda underwent brain surgery in 2013.
They did a C1 laminectomy, a craniotomy, and they carved my C1, and they removed the back portion of my skull.
Now, for some teens, this might have been the end of the story, but not for Amanda Haley. She decided to meet the challenge headlong, and instead of becoming a victim to it, she became an advocate for it.
I decided to raise awareness for Chiari malformation, so we met with the mayor of Covington, and we received a proclamation from not only him but also Governor Bobby Jindal, and hosted the first annual Conquer Chiari Walk across America in Covington in September 2014.
Rather than look at herself as a victim, she looked at herself as a leader.
I just wanted to make sure that nobody else would have to deal with what I was dealing with.
It gives you pause to say, wow, she can have the strength and the courage to go through this and to then help others. And that says a lot about who she is.
It's just a matter of staying positive all the time, because if you let the illness take over your emotions and your mentality, then everything will just go downhill.
She has inspired others to fight through things, and she truly has the strength and the courage of a lion.
So I'm going to ask Melody and Kevin to come up and receive their awards as well. Things are heavy. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Our third award, our third Telly Award tonight, was earned by Rhett Sharp and Tiger Edwards for their work in 2015 featuring John Taylor, a custodian in our school system. Mr. Taylor met Paul McCartney when the former Beatle began recording an album in New Orleans. The two became friends, which inspired Mr. Taylor's books, Wings Over New Orleans. take a look at the video that Rhett and Tiger produced.
Don't overlook the obvious. While you might see a custodian riding on a lawnmower, there is more to John Taylor than meets the eye.
Johnny and I go way back to our original garage band roots. I remember Johnny, and we both lived in Gentilly. I always had a lot of respect for Johnny. He was a natural talent, in my opinion. His best-known local band was a band called the Blue Meanies, and a very good cover band, if you will. It's very strong.
The Blue Meanies covered a lot of Beatles songs, which excited this talented musician.
I'm a big Beatle freak. I mean, when I was young when they came out, I was already playing guitar. So when they came on Ed Sullivan, I became an instant fan.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
Of course, I read every magazine, seen every movie, seen every TV appearance, everything. I was, totally big-time Paul McCartney fan.
So it would only be natural that in early 1975, Taylor would gravitate to a nearby place to see his idol.
I think my girlfriend's mother had read it somewhere that he was coming to New Orleans to do his next album, Venus and Mars. They lived around the corner from C-Saint Studios, so that's where I was going to check first, to see if I could catch a glimpse of him.
When Paul McCartney came, Johnny was fixated on that studio, and he hung out there all the time. So when Paul McCartney came by, Johnny was there, and Johnny would get out.
John Taylor was not alone. A small group of people hung out in the parking lot next to the studios and often visited with McCartney and his wife Linda during session breaks.
A car pulled on the side of mine, and it was Paul and Linda, to my surprise. So they waved to me, and I got out and walked over to him. He says, "How you doing this fine morning?" I said, "Just great, man. How are you? Welcome to New Orleans." And he would come out and talk to us 15, 20 minutes. We did that for about 2.5 months. They were as down to earth as you could possibly think of. They were just like not rock stars. It was just like this was a different Paul McCartney.
The Kodak Pocket Instamatic Camera.
Long before cell phones and selfies, Taylor relied on an old classic to get photographs of McCartney.
It was a Kodak Instamatic 110 film, and we all had one. I think they were about $19 at the time. And so just started taking pictures.
The picture sat for 39 years in a desk drawer until John decided to do something with them.
I said, well, these are pictures that nobody has seen, and so I should share them with the world. And Pelican Publishing said they wanted to do the book.
Johnny is a perfect example of people who has so much talent. And so what he's doing right now with his book and his Wings Over New Orleans is a very innovative and creative way to break out of the natural scheme of things, if you will.
Using pictures and fan recollections in this distinctly New Orleans book has broadened Mr. Taylor's resume.
Paul McCartney is a phenomenon, and all the Beatles were phenomenons, and a lot of people don't realize what great musicians they really were, and how great they worked on harmonies, and how many takes they would take to get it right.
Hey, don't make it bad.
So I think what Johnny's done at Wings Over New Orleans is a wonderful story, and I embrace it wholeheartedly.
Cut to the heart, left here to bleed.
In between musical gigs and writing a book, this custodian also found some time to be an extra in movies.
I've been in like 39 films. The first time is when they filmed JFK. Me and a friend heard that they needed extras, and that was years and years ago with Kevin Costner. I did the Dallas Buyers Club, and I just randomly got picked and got a speaking role in that movie.
Where are you coming? Oh, excuse me. Japan. Medical research. Good to be back in USA.
Custodian, musician, author, and actor, John Taylor is a man of many talents. Sometimes you really need to overlook the obvious to get to know the person. Tiger Edwards, Channel 13.
As you know, Tiger Edwards has since retired and is probably on vacation somewhere, would be my guess. But Red is still here working hard, so I'm going to ask Red to come up and receive this award. Congratulations very much. Right. You know, board members, staff, when I was looking at these videos again this morning, I realized that we were recognizing one retiree, a student, and then one of our support personnel. And I thought, going into Monday, what better group of people to recognize, and especially the last one, our support personnel. So many times we take for granted for all the work that they've been doing over the summer, so that when those teachers and those students walk in on Monday morning and those classrooms are set and the floors are shiny and everything looks the way it should be, as we say all the time, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And I think that first impression Monday will be a good one because of people like Mr. Taylor and our other maintenance, custodian, and other support staff people that continue to make us the school system that we're all proud of. So it was nice to recognize and honor all those and indeed recognize our Telly Award winners at the same time. So thank you, Ms. Hunts.
Thank you, and I'd like to offer my congratulations on behalf of the board to the Channel 13 staff. Y'all do an excellent job, and it's just amazing how we learn so much from Channel 13. The community learns a lot. We as board members learn a lot, and staff, and you just seem to just find just the right niche every time. Thank you so much. Any comments from board members by any chance? Alrighty, then we'll move on to our next item, which is recognition of the Alexis Wilkins Scholarship Fund established by Ms. Shirley Wilkins, and we have Ms. Sharp for that.
Thank you, Ms. Heinz, Superintendent Foltz, and board members. It is a pleasure and an honor for me tonight to recognize a very special foundation and a very special person. On February 26, 2004, Alexis Keoka Marie Wilkins was a beautiful senior at Fontainebleau High School. This is also the date she lost her life to a drunken driver. Her mother, Miss Shirley Wilkins, was able to reach out beyond her grief and create this wonderful foundation as a tribute to honor Alexis. The Alexis Keoka Marie Wilkins Scholarship Foundation is a nonprofit fund that supports teens in our community to further their education beyond high school. The main purpose of the foundation is to educate our precious youth about prevention and safety regarding drinking and driving. Partnering with Alexis Wilkins Foundation has been the Slidell Church Basketball League, as well as activities like the Alexis Wilkins 3-mile walk at Heritage Park, gospel concerts, and other events. Through the years, seniors from all 8 of our public high schools, as well as several private schools, have been recipients of scholarships from this foundation, including 11 from this past school year. Since 2004, a total of 86 laptop computers and 101 scholarships have been given to our students, totaling $98,000. What a loving tribute Ms. Wilkins has made in her daughter's honor. Ms. Wilkins would like to say a few words, so as she is coming to the podium, I would like to introduce and ask them to please stand up some people who are accompanying Ms. Wilkins tonight. We have several board members from the foundation, and I would like them to stand and be recognized. Ms. Delphine Johnson and Ms. Flora Gibson. We also have 2 of the recipients with us tonight of the 11. I think the bad weather kept a lot of them away. Miss Judy Law from Salmon High School and Miss Sonali Purpuri from North Shore High School. Miss Wilkins.
Thank you. Let me say this. Good evening. When Alexis was killed, that was probably one of the most horrible things any parent can go through, for someone to call and say your child's been killed. And one of the things that made it more bearable was to be able to help and educate other young people about what can happen if you decide to get behind that wheel after drinking. Alexis was riding with a young man that had been drinking. He flipped the car in the ditch, crawled over her and got out, and left her saying, "I'm stuck, I can't get out," and she drowned. So we decided that we needed to educate not only young people, but all people. Because I'm sure everyone in this room at one time or another have made that type of bad decision. And we always thought that it could never happen to us. I believe that if we continue to educate our people, then no one else would have to go through what my family went through. And by helping the young people get their education, being able to feel good about themselves, because I feel that a lot of decisions come when young people doesn't have the right support. They wasn't taught the importance of life. You know, sometimes people don't realize that it doesn't matter what color you are or who you are. Life means something. There's someone that loves everybody. And I just want to say, I just feel so blessed to be standing here, that you guys thought enough to think of us. Because it's not about giving. It's about helping, showing love, letting people know that somebody cares. You're not alone, and we're here. So thank you for giving us this opportunity. We appreciate it.
I'm going to ask Mr. Foles to please present Ms. Wilkins with the certificate.
That was beautiful.
Would you like to get
ladies
yeah.
real quick, please?
Ms. Wilkins,
I would like to give a very special thank you on behalf of the many graduating seniors you have helped through the years, as well as the many you may have protected by spreading your important message about safe driving. Thank you all so much for coming tonight.
Ms. Wilkins, I know I can speak for the board in saying that we're so sorry for your loss, but what a beautiful way to honor your daughter, and we really appreciate you lifting us up tonight by this wonderful way of sharing a tribute to your daughter and a tribute to our students in our system. Thank you so much. We have comments from other board members. Mr. Kuzan?
Ms. Wilkins, I'd just like to say thank you for what you do. And thank you. I know I speak for all the members of this board. We just like to say thank you for helping, and thank you for being a part of the St. Tammany Parish School Board for what you do for the students in St. Tammany Parish. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, we'll move on next to our ACT report, and we'll call on Dr. Sanford for that report.
And to Ms. Wilkins, thank you for being here tonight. I had the pleasure of teaching your daughter. So, in looking at our theme for this year, focus on the future, sometimes we have to look at the past in order to focus on the future. So tonight, I think it's very fitting that this is an honor to our graduates, the class of 2016. Some of them are preparing for a future of college, packing their bags, headed off very soon. Some have already entered into the workplace and are honing their skills for their careers. And a last group may be serving in our military, learning valuable skills and protecting our country. To all of those graduates, this is a tribute to your success, an ACT presentation. So I want to take you back a couple of years ago in the year 2012. The St. Tammany Parish School ACT Composite as a district was 21.9. That year, the ACT Composite for the state was 20.3. Nationally, the ACT composite was 21.1. I want to remind you that that was the last year of selective choice, meaning that students could choose whether or not to take the ACT. The next year was the first year that the ACT entered into our school accountability formula for the school performance score. And just a reminder, the ACT, as you can see from the graph, composes 25% of the high school formula. So with that being said, I'm very pleased to be here tonight to spread the good news that our ACT composite has remained first in the state at 21.5. And if you look at our 4-year trend since all juniors are exposed and required to take the ACT, you will see we started with 21.1 and we have held consistently at 21.5. Louisiana started that year at 19.5 and this year is again at 19.5. Nationally, that trend hovers around 21, and the reason that we do not have that final result is because some reporting is yet to be done nationally. So let's take a look at the top 5 performing districts in Louisiana, and you will see we're very proud of our ranking and our current status. Also from this 3-year group, you will see that St. Tammany, Central, and Orleans are the only 3 that appear in all 3 years. So I want to point that out to you. In looking at our ACT by categories, we had increases. 18 or higher counts in school accountability. We had 6 of our 8 high schools improving by at least 1 percentage point in that span. An ACT of 20 or higher, we had 4 out of 8 high schools. A 23 or higher, 2 out of our 8 high schools. A 25 or higher, 6 out of 8 of our high schools. And 27 or higher, we had 3 of the 8 high schools. So all of that plays into this ACT composite. So we're making progress. However, we, of course, do not like to stay stagnant, so we will have a plan. But before we talk about the plan, I wanted to outline some of the high-performing districts and factors that do affect. In looking at St. Tammany, you will see that we have 8 high schools, and these are the top-performing districts historically, all the way down to districts that just have 1 high school. Looking at the numbers, you see that we lead the state with the number that are tested in a district, almost double to what the others are in those top categories, all the way down to a district such as West Carroll, very, very small, smaller than many of our senior classes. You also will see the economically disadvantaged column. You will see that it does not matter your economic status that you can truly achieve given the right instruction. So we're very proud of this ranking, but we know that a 36 composite is perfect. So all of our schools strive to get more students moving toward that high score. So with that being said, we have a plan for next year. And as Mr. Foltz points out to me often, we always want to be better and improve. So consequently, we have done quite a bit of research, talked to vendors across the state, and we have chosen ACT Mastery Prep, local company in Louisiana. And what we're going to do is to share one of their specially trained instructors. We're going to roll this out as a pilot. We start small so that we can measure our progress. One instructor will be shared between 2 high schools on the east. One instructor will be shared between 2 high schools on the west. Those schools were chosen based upon their interest, based upon their availability within their master schedule, making it work, and of course student interest. We will have 1 course at each location. Funding, we will use some of our supplemental course allocation that's dedicated from the state. Typically, we use those dollars to pay for dual enrollment, but we are going to carve out a small portion of that to fund this pilot. We will target a specific group of students that we would like to see make progress to test this model. So we will use previous data for placement purposes, as well as their individual desire to be in their class and parent permission. We will pre-assess their skills. We will post-assess their skills after instruction, and we as a district will pay for this targeted group to take the ACT in December, because we definitely want to see the instructional impact, and we know that you have to test immediately after the instruction to directly correlate those two. As always, we make data-driven decisions in St. Tammany, so we will be using this data to determine our future expansion of this pilot project. So in closing, I would like to congratulate our class of 2016, their parents, their teachers, their administration, for all of the dedication toward improvement of ACT for college and career readiness. And with that, I will entertain questions.
Questions from board members? Mr. Hannigan?
Thank you, Ms. Hines. Well, I absolutely love this, and congratulate you for doing this. We can go home, I think. You guys you don't need us. You're really on the right track. You can always improve, and I'm very impressed that you guys are doing this, so my congratulations. One quick question. How many students do you think you'll touch?
In this particular pilot, it's going to be a class of 20 at each of the 4 locations, so we hope to touch 80 students with this pilot. Again, it's small because we want to make sure that all of these strategies will work and will improve their ACT performance.
All right, Mr. Derman?
Thank you, Ms. Hines. Dr. Sanford, in looking at some of the numbers that we're looking at when we're talking about the free and reduced lunch percentages, now those have basically been rising, correct, within our district over the last?
We've hovered in the neighborhood of 48 to 50. I took this number from one of the snapshots, so it's probably, hovering in that 48 to 49, 50%.
Right, but as that percentage goes up, typically it may have a negative impact on your test scores, correct?
Not necessarily, because we believe that we provide quality education regardless of income.
Well, I'm just saying if it does nationally, we're doing a much better job than they are
Yes,
by
sir.
not letting that affect our test scores. So congratulations. The other thing is the number of special ed or special needs children that we currently have, they have to take the test as well, correct?
All students who are on a diploma track have to take the test.
Right, so they are being tested as well.
If the student is on a diploma track, they will take the ACT, or they will opt to take a different measure such as Law 1 and maybe not take the test, but they're counted in accountability.
And what percentage of our students, has that been level, or has that been growing across this period of time as well?
I didn't bring that particular data with me.
Well, I'm just
I will
trying
take a
to
look.
emphasize the fact that the job y'all are doing is really good, and the fact that if our special needs programs are growing and they are required to take the test as well, even though we're seeing small increases based on what the other adverse impacts could possibly be to our system, we're overcoming them and still not letting us hold us back. So
Yes, sir.
again, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Nation.
Thank you, Mrs. Hines. Dr. Sanford, thank you for a great report. And it's good to see these numbers, and I think it's also good to remind folks about the selective choice versus the fact that here in Louisiana we test 100% of our students, as you said, that are on the diploma track. I'm curious, though, when we were selective choice, what was the percentage of our students that were taking?
We had a very high percentage at that point. I did not bring the exact percentages,
okay.
but most of our students do declare, a large majority, that they are college bound, so we had quite a large number. I would say it was, hovering in the neighborhood of 2/3 to 3/4.
Right. And that's one of the things, at least for me, that becomes misleading with, like this recent story in the Advocate with the credit bureau or whoever it was that did the report on education, that when you've got 50 states, well, somebody's got to be 50th, but they don't show the numbers, and so sometimes the numbers may not be all that large, or there may not be that big a difference between 50 and 1. But having said that, as we all know, and again, this is just preaching to the choir, that Massachusetts, which is always held up as the standard. I looked at that the other night after this came out, and my wife and I were talking about it, and I think 28% of their students take the ACT.
Correct.
That's a very small amount.
Most take the SAT instead.
Right. Which schools are doing the pilot program?
The 4 schools are Salmon High, Pearl River High, Lakeshore High, and Fontainebleau.
Okay, great. And will these kids get a grade for this, or is this?
Yes, it will be an elective class, so it will count as one of their 3 electives if they're in the college pathway.
Gotcha. And it's just a semester course?
It's a semester course, and they will have to pair it with a different elective for the other semester. Yes, sir.
Right. Well, I want to reiterate what Mr. Hennigan said. I'm tickled to death about what we've done, and glad to see that we're taking a step forward to make it even better. Thank you, Dr. Sanford.
Yes, sir.
And to you and your staff.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nation. Mr. Womack?
As I've said so many times before, Regina, we're all just so happy to be a part of something great, and so proud of. We know we have no delusions of grandeur. The people that sat in front of us out here, we know the job that you're doing, and we're very, very, very honored to be a part of working with you.
Thank you, and I give all the accolades to our teachers in the classroom.
Absolutely.
Thank
Anyone
you.
else? Thank you, Dr. Sanford. Appreciate it. Our next item is new teacher induction report, and we have Ms. Dangerfield here to give us that report.
Good evening, everyone. Once again, I get to share information with you about our 2016 New Teacher Induction Program, which was held earlier in the month of July. We had lots of smiling faces there to receive lots of wonderful information for our new group of teachers. We started our day by sharing our objectives that you see here, and we had a couple of them. We provided them with an overview, and we set our expectations. We laid the foundation in various areas necessary for teachers to be successful in our district. We highlighted key topics. We pinpointed questions for further inquiry. We identified key district personnel who could be very beneficial to them in different areas, and then we provided opportunities for them to network. We began our day with objectives, and we did this for 2 reasons. First of all, we wanted our teachers to know exactly what they could expect for the day. And then the second thing is that we wanted to model what we expect from our teachers. In their classroom, we expect for them to have their objectives or either their I can statements, share them with their students, have them posted in the classroom. And but what better way than us to demonstrate what we expect for our teachers by beginning our new teacher induction, by laying the expectations and modeling that with our teachers. Our participants. Day 1, we had 159 teachers who attended. Day 2, you can see we had a total of 200 broken down. We had our biggest group, our elementary and middle school, followed by our junior high, and then our other category, which consisted of like our counselors, our occupational therapists, our speech therapists. We had 13 in that category. Day 3 and 4 were special education days, where day 3 consisted of 71, and day 4 consisted of 60 teachers. Let's take a look at the agenda for the entire week. Day 1 was our district showcase, and we're going to talk about each day in just a moment. Day 2 was curriculum day, which is the best day each year. Day 3 and 4 were special education days, where the teachers received specific information about special education. And then site-based orientations. Those were not held on the same day. Each individual school got to select the day that they wanted to have their site-based orientation, where teachers became acclimated to their individual campuses. The district showcase, it provided an overview of district information about the topics that you see here. The district showcase was information that we felt important no matter what your content area, no matter what grade you taught, no matter what school or no matter what position. This information was important for you across the board. A little bit about how we came up with these topics. At the end of new teacher induction last year, we surveyed the new teachers to find out what they thought about new teacher induction. They shared their opinions with us. Then we took it a step further. After their first year of teaching, we surveyed them again to get their opinions about how useful the information from new teacher induction was throughout their first year of teaching. In addition to that, we brought a focus group of teachers together from each of the different categories: alternative certification, regular certification, and the different content areas, to see what they thought. And boy, did they share some information with us. So we took the data, we took the information, and that is how we came up with the topics for the district showcase. In addition to that, they did make the recommendation that they thought it would be a good idea to have a panel of administrators and teachers who were new to St. Tammany Parish, that they can have questions asked of them to share with them information about what the transition was like coming from somewhere else, or either coming straight from the college or university, and how that transition process was coming to St. Tammany Parish. As a part of Curriculum Day, Mr. Foth, he came and he gave his presentation. His presentation, of course, included our district overview. He talked about our students, the district performance, ACT scores, graduation. Of course, he highlighted Kelly Stumps with the Teacher of the Year, and then he shared a few of his favorite quotes as a part of his presentation. And you can tell from the pictures here, the new teachers were really excited to actually have the superintendent and Dr. Sanford as a part of the new teacher induction program, as well as some of our board members who were there engaging with them as well. Curriculum Day. I say Curriculum Day is really the fun part of new teacher induction because that's what we always get on the evaluations. Curriculum Day is the day that they actually get to spend with a seasoned teacher the entire day learning about their grade, learning about their content, getting the whole day, the day in the life of a teacher in St. Tammany Parish. They get to see the materials. They get to see what the classroom looks like. They get to see what the curriculum looks like. So they are really excited about that. Our host locations for this year are our major host locations were Cypress Cove, Honey Island, Mayfield, and Lakeshore High School. Special Education Day, 3 and 4. Last year we only had one special education day, but this year we extended it to 2 because we included our NCI training, and that stands for non-crisis intervention. Did I get it right? Nonviolent intervention. Usually we would have to pull the teachers back out of the classroom for them to receive this training, but we thought that we would get it at the beginning of the year to eliminate that. So we took care of that as a part of new teacher induction, but they received the information that really focused on writing and conducting those IEPs and the components that went along with that. And the individual site-based orientations that each of the individual schools held. They had the flexibility of having these when they wanted to, and they can have the agendas the way that they wanted to, but they must include the items that you see here, because even though they're being acclimated to their individual campuses, we wanted to make sure that all of our teachers receive the information that you see highlighted here. Quotes from some of our new teachers. I'm impressed with just how much St. Tammany does to set new employees up for success. I'm very impressed with the caliber of teachers who conducted the workshops. I'm so excited that I'm part of the St. Tammany team. New teacher induction is not the only form of support that we give to our new teachers. We have our boost workshops, and that's building our own superior teachers. These are monthly workshops that we give in addition to new teacher induction, and they are designed specifically for teachers, first year teachers to St. Tammany, and we start off where we dig deeper into the guaranteed curriculum, the compass rubric, assessment, and any other topic that we feel necessary for them to be successful in the classroom. In addition to that, we have the new teacher cohort site. They received the brochure about this at new teacher induction, and the new teacher cohort site has all of the information and PowerPoints from new teacher induction, and we update it on a regular basis, giving them additional information that we feel would be beneficial for them throughout the year. This program could not be successful without the support, first of all, from you all, our board members. So we thank you so much for the support that you give us in order to make this program a success. Mr. Foss and his leadership team for the support that they give us in enabling us to do this for our new teachers. In addition to that, we have the district PTA, the St. Tammany Federation of Teachers, along with the Federal Credit Union, who give us the support by way of providing breakfast and lunch for our teachers, as well as door prizes. In closing, I'd like to share a snapshot of the actual day with you with a short video that was produced by Channel 13. And this is our way. You know, Mr. Foss always tells us about every child, every day. Well, new teacher induction, it's our way of focusing on every teacher every day to enable the new teachers to focus on every child every day.
Today is the first step in a very important journey with our school system.
This exclusive event welcomes teachers chosen to be a part of the St. Tammany Parish family. And what better way to welcome them than with a pep talk from St. Tammany Parish Public Schools Superintendent Trey Fultz.
They went through a long process, so they were the ones that made it, and they're here, and we just want to thank them and kind of bring them up to date on what we have going on in our school system, share what we're doing, and what our expectations are for them.
As part of the new teacher induction, teachers attended a number of informative workshops.
They'll be doing SAT overview. There'll be a 504 session and SPED overview session that they'll be attending. They will also have a compass overview, and they also will have a pupil progression policy overview.
It has been a wonderful experience. I definitely came in not knowing anything besides talking with my other fellow teachers, and I definitely feel a lot more knowledgeable.
I'm St. Tammany product and native, and just how they do things and how productive they are, and basically taking the different PDs and different workshops into my teaching experience at Folsom Junior High this year.
Networking is also a big part of this workshop, and the new teachers have plenty of opportunities to interact with their peers.
Everything's really well structured, and it's just a great school district. I can tell already it's going to be a great school district to work at, where everybody really just puts the kids' needs first.
Christy LaCour, Channel 13.
In closing, Sharnetta Robinson, who is the new teacher induction queen, is here tonight. So I just want to thank her for her hard work and what she does in putting it together for us. So that concludes my report.
Thank you. Any questions?
Ms. Hines, before we start the questions, I think I sit up here every year and say, tell Dorable and Shanetta, I don't think we can do it any better, and every year you cap that. I can tell you the response, the emails I got from the teachers were the best ever. And then we got to walk into the workshops this year, and the workshops were just fabulous. I mean, they were very intense. It was not fluff. It was real good stuff that they needed to hear. And I just want to thank both of y'all as well as the staff for doing that, and encourage you to, a year from now, to be sitting here saying, I didn't think you could top it, but you did. Sharnetta, we can do that, right? All right. Thank y'all very much.
That's exactly what I was thinking, that we took a very good program and made it into a great program. Thank you so much for that. Any other comments? All right. Well, on behalf of the board, I would like you all to know that we're thinking about you as you prepare for the new school year. And we know everyone's been very busy. We know our teachers have been very busy, and administrators at their schools. And we hope that it's a great day on Monday. No further business. I declare this meeting adjourned.
Going to call to order the St. Tammany Parish School Board Committee as a whole meeting on August 4, 2016. Business Affairs Administrative. Roll call, please.
Mr. German.
Here.
Mr. Hannigan. Mrs. Hines. Mr. Luke. Mr. Harrell. Mr. Nation. Mr. Jeter. Mrs. Seeley. Mrs. Strucker. Mr. Betancourt. Mr. Womack. Mr. Hersey. Mrs. Mullet. Mr. Kuzan. Mrs. Belisario.
Thank you very much. We're going to dispense with the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance as it was done in our prior meeting. There was no one requesting time on the agenda, so we're going to move to item 4, which is approval of the minutes for committee as a whole meeting held July 12th, 2016. Do I have a motion, please? Moved by Mr. Womack. Second by Ms. Seeley. Any questions or comments from board members regarding the minutes? Seeing none. Any from the public? All in favor say aye. Oppose? Abstain? So ordered. Item 5, Administrative, Mr. Javier. Good to have you back.
Thank you, Ms. Dermer. It's good to be back.
Yeah.
We have our normal reports tonight. The first one is the monthly maintenance and custodial report that was sent to you electronically. Mr. Singletary and his staff are here if you have any questions.
Any questions for maintenance? Seeing none, but I would like to, again, compliment our maintenance department and for all the work that they do during our summer sprucing up and overhaul and whatever else it may be that's going on, moving, you name it. they work diligently during our summer time off.
Thank you, Mr. Dermott, for that.
Thank
They
you
do.
very much.
They very hard workers and do a great job for us, and we appreciate them very much. The next report is your monthly risk management report. Mr. Gaspard is here if you have any questions.
Any questions for risk management? Seeing none, Mr. Javier.
Transportation report is also in your packet. A report is in your packet. Mr. Alfonso is here. I do want to point out a couple of things in this report, is that our hotline has been in effect since August the 1st, and we'll go through August the 9th. Be running from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. I know we're doing a great job with that. Also want to report to you that all of our buses have all of their radios installed, so we're going to be ready for that for the beginning of the school year. So thank you, Mr. Alfonso, for that.
Any questions regarding transportation? I would like to make a comment, though. Also notice where we're authorized for the CDL instruction as well. So
yes,
I think that's very important.
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Jabby, you were awesome. in
Thank
that
you,
meeting.
sir.
We're going to go to item 6, construction. Ms. Tipton.
Thank you. Our first item is recommends acceptance of Covington High chiller system replacement and associated renovations as substantially complete, subject to the architect's recommendations, submission of all regulatory requirements, and approval of Superintendent Foltz, STPSB, project number 1470.
Moved by Ms. Heinz. Mr. Harrell, you got a second? Thank you. Any comments or questions from school board members? From the public? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Abstain? So ordered. Thank you. Ms. Tipton.
Yes, sir. Our next item, number 2, recommends acceptance of Salmon High School carpentry classroom renovation to old maintenance gym building as substantially complete, subject to the architect's recommendations, submission of all regulatory requirements, and approval of Superintendent Foltz, STPSB project number 1511.
Mr. Hersey? Second. Second by Ms. Mullet. Any comments or questions by board members? From the public? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstain? So ordered. Ms. Tipton, you're up again.
Thank you. I do have a construction report for you. The weather is not helping us, but our construction sites have been tightened up for the start of the school year. Summer projects are complete or will finish in coordination with school hours and activities. The new wing for Tchefuncta Middle School received occupancy, and maintenance, IT, and the school administration made the move from the modular wings into the new wing late last week and into this week. The contractor has also poured new sidewalks and built the connecting walkway canopies for both Tchefuncta Middle and Pontchartrain Elementary, and final finishes for Pontchartrain are scheduled to start installation. The new modular classrooms for Mandeville High School received occupancy last week, and the school has moved into those 12 new classrooms also. The interior work for Covington High HVAC replacement project has changed the look of the school on the inside, and it's all complete for the start of school. The exterior work at the west entry to the school has been down to the wire. They did get the new sidewalk entry poured, and the canopy roof will be completed outside of school hours to complete that project totally. The new addition for Lyon Elementary is nearing completion. Final cleanup and final inspections are expected to begin in the next couple of weeks. The cafetorium project is nearing completion at Abney Elementary. Exterior site work and concrete paving remain to be completed, in addition to some interior work and inspections. The new addition for Mandeville Elementary is progressing with HVAC startup anticipated, and the interior finishes will follow behind that. At Pearl River High, the contractor has received delivery of the temporary modular classroom and administration buildings, and those buildings are being set in place. The temporary kitchen, serving line, and other kitchen support areas are complete and will be in use for the opening of the school year. A large portion of the scope of work for the parking lot work at the front of the school was completed for the start of the school year also. Temporary modular classroom buildings are in place at Mandeville Junior High, and the contractor is laying out temporary walkways to the buildings and investigating the new window installation at the existing classroom wings to be renovated. Renovation of the 200 wing in the library at Clearwood Junior High is progressing, and the summer phase of renovations in the administration and band room are complete. Interior renovations to North Shore High have transformed the look of the administrative offices, commons area, and main hallways for the start of the school year. Work in the 400 wing is complete, and renovations to the 300 wing have started. The new driveway at the entrance to Carolyn Park has been poured. A temporary canopy is in place for the start of school until the new steel canopy at the entry is erected. The new kitchen area is nearing completion. The serving area has been moved to the gymnasium for the start of the school year so the contractor can renovate the cafeteria seating area and the existing old kitchen area. Concrete block walls are going up on the south and north ends of the new large building at Fontainebleau Junior. The contractor is also working on pouring foundations at the center portion of the building. The contractor for Lancaster Elementary Addition is erecting the steel structure on the first floor and is working on the new parking areas. The contractor for Mayfield Elementary Additions is installing subsurface drainage and is preparing to start pile driving. Contractor for Boyette Little Oak Middle Utilities Project is ordering materials, and we have issued a notice to proceed for that project. The architects for Slidell High renovations, Abney Library project, and the Pupil Appraisal Services Facility are working on documents for review and bid advertisement. I also want to remind everybody, as you all know, that our construction projects involve many directly and indirectly. There's not a department in the school system or a person at or near a school that is somehow not affected when a construction project takes place. The success of the projects involve not just those directly in the school system, but many people outside of the school system. We want to thank the contractors, subcontractors, and vendors, the architects and engineers, school board council, our state and local parish and city governments, our school system administrators, teachers, custodians, students, and parents, and our St. Tammany Parish community. And just about every department within the school system is involved in some way when we have a construction project, from the superintendent and associate and assistant superintendents to administration, business affairs, public information, transportation, food services, and curriculum and instruction. We particularly appreciate that maintenance and custodial and IT departments always prioritize projects when Sammy and I call them to help us get ready for our opening school or for a construction project need. And I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Tipton. As always, outstanding job. And yeah, I mean, during the summertime.
Thank the board also. You all support us.
Oh
and
yeah,
we appreciate that.
we're driving some nails out there for you guys.
Yes.
Yeah. But in all honesty, I mean, the job that you do in your department and everybody else when it comes to our construction and trying to get all of this done during the summertime as much as we can for the start of school, it's a massive undertaking. And all of the projects that you just listed are so many and the scope is so large. It's amazing that we do as well as we do by getting it this close for the start of the school. Great job to everyone involved. I know the board truly appreciates it at all of our schools, so thank you again. Any comments from board members? Ms. Seeley?
First of all, ditto to what Ms. Derman said. I'm so pleased about the way our project is going in District 8 with Pearl River High. And I know it's a lot of work that's been put in. Now, I do have a question. Does it look like all of the modulars that are delivered will be used?
Oh, yes, ma'am. They will all be used, yes.
And all for classrooms then?
Classrooms, administration, restrooms. The one that's up at the front in front of the gym will also serve as a temporary locker room. And there's also restrooms in front of the gym to serve temporarily when they take those out of commission.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Mr. Foltz, did you want to say anything, or are you good?
I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on now to item 7, which is business affairs. Ms. Prevost's our monthly purchasing report.
Thank you. The monthly purchasing report is in your packets, and Mrs. Stevens is here to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? Seeing none, thank you very much. And now we're going to go to announcements from the president, which is going to be done by Ms. Mullet, our vice president.
Well, thank you, Mr. Derman. We'll be calling all students. First day of school will be Monday, August 8th. So I'm sure this board will be praying for all students to have a wonderful, safe school year. The next board meeting will be held Thursday, August 11th, but it will be at the Brooks Educational Complex in Slidell. So none of us from Slidell, don't make the mistake and drive over here because you'll be late for the meeting, starting at 7. And that's it. Oh, and yes. And one more thing, happy birthday to Mr. Womack tonight.
Hey, happy birthday.
Thank you, Ms. Mullet. Mr. Foles asked for a
Thank you,
minute.
Mr. Derman, board members. And I know it's been said by many people, many different ways tonight, so I'm not going to repeat too much of that, but just to go on record and say, you know, everybody makes fun of my little sayings all the time, and probably one of the most corny ones is there's no I in team. But this group of people right out here is quite evident of that. There's no I in team. It doesn't matter who gets the credit. It's just so that the work gets done. And I just want to thank everybody in here, as well as all of our principals and assistant principals that are already back at work, have hit the ground running. And I really, truly, honestly believe that we are prepared and ready to go on Monday. And it's because of the work of so many different people. And I just thank them all for their efforts. And board members, I thank you for your support, your encouragement, your positive words throughout the summer. And I can assure you, sometimes it's just a short email that you send, 1 or 2 sentences or a text, but it means a lot to all of us, and we thank you for the support that you give us. And as we go about starting again on Monday, reaching our ultimate goal of meeting the needs of every child every day. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Foles. One quick question. Okay, Mr. Kuzan.
We have a great team, but we also have a great leader. I would like to express that.
Well, thank you, Mr. Kuzan. I knew I put you on that video for something earlier today, you know.
Just for clarification, this is your what year?
I finished my 31st year and my 6th year, so my 32nd year, 7th year as superintendent, and I was a product of the school system for 12 years, so I say 43 out of my 50.
Yes.
Yeah, 43 out of my 50 some odd years are in the school system.
And Petey's still struggling with math.
There you
Thank
go.
you. All right, we're adjourned. Have a great start to school.